The joy at the Vatican was universal as the world met the new leader of the Catholic Church.
Robert Prevost becomes the first North American pope in history, taking the name Leo XIV. The 69-year-old is originally from Chicago, and he holds a dual citizenship with the U.S. and Peru. He was named a cardinal by Pope Francis in September of 2023.
St. Peter's Square erupted this afternoon as the bells rang out and white smoke appeared from the Sistine Chapel. Pope Leo XIV was named less than 24 hours after the conclave began.
And here's a live look from the Vatican now, where it is now just after 11 p.m. It has quieted down there, as you can see from St. Peter's Square. Everyone appears to have gone home. We have team coverage from the Pope's values to his vision to reaction from here and around the world. Let's begin our coverage here tonight at 5 with Mary Calvi. She is live in St. Peter's Square. And Mary, everyone doubted an American Pope would be voted on by these College of Cardinals, but you know what? Never say never.
Never say never, Christine. Hello, Dick. What an extraordinary day. Stunning, historic moment that no one truly expected would happen. An American Pope, the first in the life of the Catholic Church. Out of the 266 popes, not one has been from the United States. The crowd here just jubilant, with tens of thousands cheering as the new leader of the 1.4 billion Catholics was introduced to the world.
Habemus Papam.
The world was holding its collective breath, waiting for this moment.
Oh, we have an American Pope! We have an American Pope!
Cardinal Robert Prevost stepped onto the balcony overlooking St. Peter's Square, the 267th man and the very first from the United States to be elected Pope. He has taken the name Leo XIV. His first words:
La pace sia con tutti voi.
Peace be with all of you. The crowds were jubilant, and I was there with some Americans to witness it all.
From Long Island to Rome, I mean, how does this feel?
It's awesome. I mean, never thought I would be here, especially during this.
The faithful in the square chanting. It was joy in its most pure form around St. Peter's, as cheers erupted after plumes of white smoke wafted skyward shortly after 6 p.m. in Rome.
It is the second day of the conclave, and day 2 is when we saw the last popes elected. Pope Francis and Pope Benedict both came on this same day as we listen to the bells ringing right now on St. Peter's Basilica.
The pomp and circumstance as the world waited for the new pope to be revealed only added to the excitement. The 69-year-old pontiff is from Chicago and spent much of his career as a missionary in South America and a bishop of Peru. This newly elected Bishop of Rome is said to be a centrist on most issues, but is also seen as a progressive in terms of recognizing marginalized groups, as did his predecessor, Pope Francis. But also, following in Francis's steps, he opposes ordaining women as deacons, for example.
Grazie a Papa Francesco. Voglio ringraziare anche tutti confratelli cardinali.
In his first remarks as Pope, Leo XIV thanked Pope Francis and his brother cardinals.
How do you feel about being here?
I feel exhilarated. I feel like this is a really rare opportunity that I'm so lucky to have.
Father Sean Sukiel from Holy Family Church in Fresh Meadows, Queens, added that he felt blessed to be witness to this historic moment.
And it's really wonderful to be part of it all. So this is truly exciting for me as a priest, but also for Catholicism universal.
The newly elected Pope is known as the Latin Yankee in Rome. One person told me he was the least American of the Americans, and that his U.S. passport was less important than the man he is and his ability to serve.
Mary, it was great to see your reaction when Pope Leo appeared there on the balcony. I have to say, it must have been like that for so many there in the square. And really, the news that it was an American that was elected really must have took some time to sink in.
It was when they said that name, Prevost, I thought, Chicago. Chicago. I can't believe it's an American Pope. And just all around me, there was just such exuberance and such excitement. We were surrounded by Americans and Long Islanders as well. So honestly, it was just nothing like I have ever experienced before. It was just what a crowd, what excitement. There were tears. It was just pure joy. Really, for me, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
And Mary, you growing up Catholic, all of us growing up Catholic, Catholic school, the Catholic Church, extended education, that has to have an added meaning for Americans now, because we were always under the impression there was never going to be an American Pope. What were those people saying in St. Peter's Square?
You know, they were saying that they were just so truly surprised. Even people we talked to who knew him were surprised. Even people from Chicago are shocked, honestly. And so, yeah, it's such a special moment to have an American Pope. I mean, I don't know what this means, really, what message this sends, but it is truly exciting, and I am just so glad to be here and just to see it. A front row seat, I just can't even believe it myself.
The front row, a little crowded there, Mary, but you got that in there. It was great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mary Calvary reporting for us from Vatican City tonight. Mary, thank you. Let's go to Tony Aiello now, continuing our team coverage. He's now live with the astonishment and also the hope at St. Patrick's Cathedral in Midtown. Tony.
Christine, things went from joyous with that white smoke to jaw-dropping when people realized it signaled the election of an American. The cathedral bells chimed long and loud within moments of white smoke appearing at the Vatican. New Yorkers and visitors couldn't wait to learn who the cardinals had elected. What do you think?
I think it's awesome.
You're waiting to hear the name.
You bet we are. We love Francis like everyone, so we're hoping it's another Pope Francis.
You're not Catholic, but you're excited.
I'm excited, not Catholic, proudly Jewish, but very excited.
I'm getting goosebumps. I'm visiting and I hear the church bells and I'm wondering, what is it for? Have they picked a new Pope? And it's just amazing.
The amazement only increased.
Habemus Papam.
When the world learned an American was now assuming the throne of St. Peter.
I am ecstatic. Oh my God. And to be here at St. Patrick's, it's just overwhelming.
I'm just excited for our country, for the world.
You want to learn more about him?
Yes, yes.
I feel like it's great for the American church and American Catholics.
What do you want to know about the new Pope?
I would love to know if he's going to continue some of the legacy of Pope Francis.
Being a part of the LGBTQ community, I definitely didn't want to go backwards. And it sounds like this one's very progressive. And so, fingers crossed.
Brian Kerwin was in the same class of 1977 with Cardinal Robert Prevost at Villanova University. They shared mutual friends. Have you followed his ecclesiastical career over the years?
Yes, I have a lot of Peruvian friends, so it was interesting that we had this Villanova, and I spent so much time in Peru.
What is his reputation?
Great guy. You know, spectacular. Couldn't be better. Couldn't be happier.
So Brian Kerwin can say, I went to college with the Pope. And Dick and Christine, think tonight of all the people who knew the Pope at St. Mary's School on the south side of Chicago. Maybe they took First Communion with him at the local church. Maybe he was an altar boy at their wedding. It's got to be mind-boggling for all these people who knew him when, and to think of that just really puts a smile on your face.
Oh, yeah. I can't even imagine. So many people have so many stories to tell with their friends and family tonight, Tony, and it is exciting. Now, Tony, I know that you were in Rome, as our viewers know, 2 weeks ago, covering Pope Francis's funeral and also the pre-conclave. How much was then Cardinal Prevost's name even bandied about at that point?
He wasn't listed as one of the frontrunners, but his name was starting to circulate. And hat tip to Mary Calvi, she mentioned him repeatedly in her live reports from Rome before today's election. Cardinal Prevost was seen as Americano ma non troppo, which is Italian for American, but not too much. Because he has that dual citizenship and lived so many years in Peru, I think that people thought that he was a very strong candidate. He ticked a lot of boxes, and that he would rise quickly among the contenders if the top two, Tagle and Parolin, didn't nail it on the first or second ballot. And it looks like that's exactly what happened.
Well, Tony, it looks like you nailed the accent pretty well. You picked it up in just a few days in Rome. Nicely
I've been
done.
working on it.
Yeah. All right. Tony Aiello, please stay with us because we want to bring in now Father Enzo Del Bracco. Father, you were the head of the Catholic Theological Union. You were just elected, I should say, where the then Robert Prevost studied, correct?
Correct. He studied, he's a graduate of theology at the Catholic Theological Union, and which I just became president a few days ago, and we're so proud of this. I mean, it means really a lot.
I mean, the wow factor, right?
Yes, it is.
I'm sure you were shocked as everyone else.
Oh,
right?
yes. I couldn't, I mean, it's such a great news, and it shows also how the theology that has been taught in the United States is really giving its fruits, and that is really something awesome, I think. Especially at CTU with the emphasis that we have on social justice, and what he said actually, you know, it really matches so much what he received and what he learned at CTU.
Tony has a question for you.
Yes.
Yeah, Father, the new Pope is a member of the Augustinian order. Their motto is truth, unity, charity. What should we expect from the first ever Augustinian Pope?
I think that we should expect what he's been already doing. I mean, we have a man who spent 20 years in Peru as a missionary, as a bishop, with the poor, with the marginalized, and the fact that Pope Francis appointed him as a cardinal just 18 months ago, and now he's a pope. I mean, that says a lot. And the words that he said, especially, you know, about peace, were his first words when he came out, announcing the peace of the risen Christ, on building bridges, and also insisting that we will continue on the path that Pope Francis has kind of opened for us on synodality. I think that he will continue on that road. And particularly, the name that he chose, Leo, is very interesting because we have actually two great Pope Leos. Everyone is focusing on Pope Leo XIII, which is very important about social justice, especially you know, for workers. He's actually even the first Pope actually to record his voice, and it's also the first Pope to be on video.
It was the turn of the century. Right?
Yes, it was the turn of the century. Yeah. The Pope is no more in charge of a big papal state because it's the first Pope of a little Vatican state, the Vatican City as we know it now. So there was a shift in power happening in the world. And so it's very interesting how he's in the moment now in the church and the world where there's also, I think, there are shifts of power that we're seeing that are happening. So it's going to be interesting. But the other Pope, Pope Leo the Great, who is in the 5th century and who talking about truth, he defined, for example, he's the one who helped define at the Council of Chalcedon the two natures of Christ, human and divine. And every Christmas night, actually, we read that passage saying, when he says, Christ became us so that we could become him, which is beautiful. And the second thing also, Pope Leo the Great, is that we are in a moment of decadence of the Roman Empire, and the barbarians were coming to invade, and he goes out to encounter those who are about to invade, to save the city, to save the people, and he's successful in that. So I think that the art of diplomacy and bridging out to others, encountering always the others, I think is going to be very important for us.
Absolutely. Dr. Enzo Del Bracco, we appreciate your insight on this very exciting topic here today.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Not just in America, but around the world.
Yes, Chicago. Yes. Thank you so much.
And Tony, thank you for your live reporting from St. Pat's.
Yes. And we can tell you, as we mentioned, the new Pope is a former missionary to Peru. Our team coverage continues in Paterson, New Jersey, where people there shared what it means to have a Pope with American and Peruvian roots.
A moment of American pride in Vatican City for the first American Pope. Pope Leo XIV has dual citizenship, holding nationality in both the U.S. and Peru, where he served for many years. In his first address, greeting the people of Peru and his former diocese in Chiclayo, a welcome sight here in Paterson's Peru Square.
I hope is very great for our culture and for our community, especially in New York and ERC, where we are big.
Cesar Moreno often visits this Peruvian enclave where there's a sense of pride, and he says hope for humanity with this new Pope.
We need more reunion. We need more people to be unionized and to love each other.
At Peruvian restaurant Mi Barunto, Miguel Iglesias says he feels proud the pontiff has Peruvian roots and hopes he blesses the community with everything migrants are facing. We also visited the Diocese of Paterson, where Bishop Kevin Sweeney weighed in on this important moment for the Catholic Church. church.
To see him come out on the balcony, just a gift for the church and the world. We believe that those cardinals were praying to the Holy Spirit. Who does the Holy Spirit want? Who does God want for us? And maybe God, it looks like God wanted an American this time, so thanks be to God.
What type of leader do you think he will be? I mean, the whole world is watching.
To hear his words of peace and that we're bridge builders, and saying that we have to continue the synodal work of Pope Francis. If he's similar to Pope Francis, I think it'll be a great blessing, and there's every indication that he will be.
In Paterson, New Jersey, Jenna DeAngelis, CBS News, New York.
On the news at 6, stick around for a special 1 hour of the CBS Evening News right after the news at 6, beginning at 6:30.